Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie. Welcome to episode 12 of Journal in January, and this is page 10. Now, we've covered obviously the previous 9 pages, preparation and introduction as well, and now we're really getting into our journaling. And we've got, for me, the last flight of the day. It's my second flight, a domestic flight from New York to Atlanta, because we're covering the whole adventures of me going to the Anna Griffin Create 4 experience of a lifetime. And it certainly was. So we've travelled to Manchester, we've had an overnight stay, we've boarded our first flight, we've had in-flight drinks and entertainment, we've had our New York approach, and now we're on our Delta flight from New York to Atlanta. Now I've got 2 photos. One of them isn't the most interesting. It is the route planner. It was exciting for me because I was sat looking at it while my husband snoozed. Now it was only a short flight, it was just 2.5 hours, but obviously in total that day that we'd been flying for nearly 11 hours in total, with the gap between and the travelling and then the overnight at Manchester. So we'd kind of been travelling for 24 hours out of our comfort zone. And when I saw this in my little Delta pack-up, I was ecstatic. And for anybody that doesn't know what it is, it's a lotus biscuit, which has the Delta emblem on, and the lotus biscuits, they're kind of like cinnamony and spicy, and they're really nice. But this was gigantic. It was a good old size. So those are my 2 photos. Again, like I say, you know, I know they're not the most interesting of photos to some people, but they're part of my journey. This is a highlight that stands out from the flight to me, and this is a highlight that stands out. It was the journey, it was our destination time, the altitude we were travelling at, the ground speed, etc. The time. It was kind of like, in time it will make me remember, because there will be bits that I forget. It'll make me remember how I felt on that journey. It wasn't the best journey in the world, I can tell you. The turbulence, there was a storm, and we flew through it, and we knew about it. So it was kind of like, it was all an epic adventure, and that's what it was. And that's what happens when you go away on any trip, on any journey, on any holiday. It's your adventure. And this is just plotted my adventure. So those are my 2 photos. I've matted and laid them onto blue cardstock, and I've got double-sided tape on the back of them. Now I'm just going to, I've simply added a little bit of washi tape already to the base of my page. Now I'm taking one of Anna's border dies, one of Anna's lace edge dies, and this is the border die. And all I'm going to do is add this to my page, and I've die cut it from the actual paper that I've taken out of the journal. You know, the extra pages that we removed at the beginning. So I've cut the border strip in half. I've got double-sided tape on the back of it. And now you're thinking Anne-Marie's lost the plot because there's a big gap between it. That's absolutely fine, because my photo is going to cover that gap. So you automatically think it's going to be one long border. Now I'm also going to take my washi tape, and I'm going to take it the opposite way to how I ran it at the other side. And I'm just going to simply add it all the way up. So the little plane is going in the opposite direction. And I'm going to take it all the way up to the end of the page and then trim it like that. And so those 2 sides match. And I'm just going to turn that over for now. So we've got a border and our washi tape. Now my photo will fit in there nicely, but it just needs a little bit more. So what I've done is I've added the tape on the back of it, and I'm just going to peel away the back of the tape. So I'm going to hold it to face me, and I've taken some ivory cardstock, and I've actually printed on this, and I've printed a few of the things, how I felt, shall we say, through this journey. I wasn't very comfortable because I was starting to get a bit tired. It's a short domestic flight. It was very bumpy, so I've added the words very bumpy. Now you'll notice where I'm adding the tags down the side, I'm not adding them straight, I'm adding them, you know, just at angles. And I'm going to just change the top one because I think it's sticking out a little bit too much. So I'm just going to peel that off and reposition it. There we go. So we've got not very comfortable, a short domestic flight, very bumpy, feeling quite tired now. Because don't forget we had a time difference as well. And then my last one for this is not as happy on this last flight. Basically because I was tired and it was bumpy. And it was kind of like one of those experiences, are we nearly there yet? I was itching to say that. So those are my tags. Printed those off just on ivory cardstock. And all I'm going to do is attach this to my journal. I'm just going to add a piece of tape across those tags to keep them in position. So that's flat tape, and we just peel the back away. And I'm going to add the photo over the middle of the two border pieces, taking the photo up to the punched holes and press it down. There we go. And I've also just got a little extra print off, and it says, wow, look at the size of that. And that's for the biscuit because it was a big one. And I think that should go, we'll put it to the top, at bottom, like that. Now I'm going to move back to our previous page, because for this page I've got my photo of my plan, my journey plan. I've also got the boarding passes. I've photocopied these just onto regular paper, and I want to add them on my page. So I'm going to add the photo first at the top, and if we add the photo here, just in the middle, then I can add the border passes underneath it. I've put a fold in them because I knew they would hang over the edge, but because, you know, they're just printed on normal paper, that's fine. I'm going to use the same washi tape that we used on the other side of the page, and I'm simply going to do exactly the same as we did for the postcard and previous boarding passes. We're just simply going to stick it down with a piece of the washi tape on the edge like that, and then I'm going to turn it over and add another piece to keep it secure like so, just at the same place. And then I can add boarding pass number 2. So I think we'll keep them just kind of together, and then we'll repeat the process with the washi tape, making sure that we've stuck the boarding pass in and we're not getting the tape into the holes of the actual journal. Turn it over and just add another piece. There we go. And the washi tape, I got this from eBay, to be fair. You could use any washi tape that you like. I'm using the one for the airmail because it just fits in with our page, basically. Now, what I have got, now our page is looking something like, I've used our little airplane stamp that we've used before, just on a few circles of card, and I'm going to add that just around the page, and maybe one at that side, I think. And then I've also printed off the Delta logo. So I printed 6 off, and I printed it again on ivory card. So I'm thinking that we'll add 2 at the top here, and that will kind of finish our page. And then we can just add another embellishment of the plane, and we'll be done. So I'm thinking that might look great like that, actually. And then one more little plane at the side of the Delta, and there we go. And that's our page finished. So we've covered everything we've got to cover. We've got the photo of our distance planner and our mileage, etc. We've got copies of our boarding tickets, so we can look at those with our seat numbers on, etc. We've got our mega picture of our biscuit and how we felt. Because, you know, journaling, you don't always have to add writing, but adding how you feel and what you were doing is, you know, quite important to your pictures, because that's what's going to help you remember. So I do hope this has given you an idea, and it's helping you maybe with a little bit of inspiration to show that you can journal anything, and you can add lots of embellishments, things and mementos along the way that you collect. So I'd just like to say thank you so much for watching. Please join me tomorrow for our next episode, and see you then.